The bottoms of my feet remind me of seashells. The bottoms of my feet remind me of seashells. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I don't have to tell you how I feel, 'cause you can see through me like I'm not real. You can read me like the palm of your hand, like a tea leaf, like the palm of your hand, like I'm not real, like I'm not real, like I'm not real. Your eyes remind me of the sea at night. Your eyes remind me of the sea at night. Your eyes remind me of the sea at night. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I don't have to tell you how I feel, 'cause you can see through me like I'm not real. You can read me like the palm of your hand, like a tea leaf, like the palm of your hand, like a tea leaf, like the palm of your hands, like I'm not real, like I'm not real, am I not real? The bottoms of my feet remind me of seashells. The bottoms of my feet remind me of seashells. Bottoms of my feet remind me of seashells. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Don't
Hi, this is Ash, and we're here with Kat and Jason from Comfort Cat. Welcome to Raw Urban Sessions. So could you tell us a little bit about your last song, Seashells?
It took me 9 years to write. I started writing it on a piano, and I don't remember what year that was. It doesn't really matter. And then 9 years after that, and I started learning the guitar ukulele, and that's when I finished it. What was the question again?
Just to say whatever you feel about that song, you know, what was the inspiration, you know, where did it come from? You said that took 9 years, like that's...
I mean, it's just every statement in it is a true statement.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. And
Thanks.
I feel like it invokes a lot of different emotions, you know, and as music does. And it takes you on a journey, so it was really beautiful to hear. Speaking of your instruments, could you tell us about your instruments and why you chose them? I think they're very unique, and if you'd like to explain both of your instruments, what brought you to them?
Well, the first instrument I ever learned, and I still play, is the violin. That's my main one. As I love telling children, they're like, "How long have you been playing?" And I'll say, "Well, if you can do this math problem, what's 34 minus 8? That's how long." So I don't remember what the answer to that is, but that's how long. But then when I started writing songs, I needed something to accompany me. And I didn't like relying on other people. I like to have like some control over it. I tried learning piano and I suck at it, but you know, then I met someone who's way better at piano than me. But I still wanted to be able to accompany myself. And so I started learning ukulele, just the soprano, the four-string kind. I played that first. And then I moved on to guitar ukulele just because I saw one for sale and I bought it. Actually, I bought it at, what's that place called? Oh, it closed down. It was on Forest Avenue. And Mandolin Brothers before they closed.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have the receipt. I don't know, I'm sentimental.
Yeah.
On that last song, I played melodica, which is essentially, it's harmonica reeds, but attached to a keyboard. So instead of blowing through the right hole, you press the right key. And mostly I bought one because as a keyboard player, you know, I can't really it needs power. I can't just take it anywhere and play it. But the melodica was a keyboard instrument that I found that I could I could just go someplace and I would have an instrument that I'd be able to play.
That's so cool. I've never seen that instrument before, and it would just make sense as a keyboard player to also find something with keys and if you feel that resonant with that, and it's a beautiful instrument. You know, I think that your choice in instruments are really unique, and it provides a certain sound as well as your music and where it's coming from. It's really beautiful how it all comes together.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I wanted to ask, where are you guys from? Where is your origin? Where were you born? What is your ethnicities, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm from somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and then through a really complicated series of bad decisions, I ended up in Staten. I mean, that makes it sound like I don't. I mean, I really love it here. I like it here. Just I got here because of bad decisions, but I stayed for good ones. I really love the creative community here a lot, and that's a big reason why I've stuck around in this borough. I've moved around a lot as an adult. This is the first place where I've settled, where I've lived for actually a long time and not moved, because. I don't know, it's the longest I've ever stayed in one city, basically. If I could count Staten Island as kind of like a small town or whatever. Yeah, that's my answer to that question.
I grew up in Texas, lived there for most of the first 30 years of my life, in Austin for 6 or 7 near the end, and I was pushing 30. And it was just well, I'm either going to stay here and die in Texas, or I'm going to move to New York and see what happens. And so 10 years ago, a friend of mine and I, we packed up a car and we drove up here. And I met my fiance 2 days after I moved here. I met Kat probably a month after I moved here, and we started working together. So one of the better decisions I've ever made.
That's incredible. It was like you were meant to be here or something, right?
Something like that.
Well, thank you so much for your answers. And up next, we're getting into your song, I'm Into Your Pain. And we'll be right back.
Should I start? Okay. I am into your pain. I'm into your struggle. All your sorrows in vain, dear, in the crippling rain. I am into your pain, and the details you leave out, and the taste of your trauma, and the sound of your name. All I long to say as I while away, a long, long way from achieving something you got away. I'm picking all out of me. I wanna know you, and not just biblically. I like the cut of your brain and the way that you feel stained and aloof and estranged, dear, like people think you're insane. I'm really into your pain, and you don't fall into grade like you got on the wrong train and then decided to stay. All I long to say as I while away, a long, long way from achieving something you got away. I'm picking all out of me, but if you wanna know me, I hope you realize I'm very into my pain. It's an ancient affair. It's as old as the moon, dear, going nowhere real soon. I'm very into my pain. It's as long as my hair, and it's stronger than booze, dear. It was my very first booze. All I long to say as I while away, a long, long way from believing something you got away. I'm picking it all out of here, and I won't make you stay when you move on.
So I love this song. I resonate with it so much, and I've been loving everything I'm hearing from you guys, and I did a little research beforehand. I got to listen, but to hear live music is always so different, and really grateful to be here and to hear you guys perform it. But I mean, I want to know everything about this. Like, where did this come from? What inspired you? Yeah. What inspired you about this song? Like, what was the inspiration and the drive?
Well, I guess it was, I'm saying a lot of buffer words. I wrote all the things that, I wished someone had told me. All the things that I wanted to be told, but no one would ever dare tell me those things. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll write them. That's kind of where it came from. I've always, felt weird and unimportant, and and no one wanted to listen to my pain. And so now I force people to listen through the power of music. But I trick them into thinking it's about them. That's how you do it. So that's the initial spark of that song.
It's cool because it's like the microcosm and the macrocosm, because it's like, even though it's coming from you, you know, someone out there experienced something that could be very similar to you, you know, in that way. And even though it might not be exactly for them, it still is in that way. And that's how music is so cool like that. You know, we all have our interpretation, and we love to personify things as humans. And like, to be able to interpret that, but also to know that this song that sounds like this like love song in the beginning, that you're like, oh, like this person, like this is how you feel about this person, to find out that the meaning behind it is you to you, and what you wish to hear just brings that much more significance to it. I think that that's an incredible thing that you did there. Like, that's like an affirmation alchemy within itself that you did, and that's like, even just made me love the song even more. I gotta ask you guys, what are your astrology signs? If you don't mind me asking.
Sure. Like, it's funny, like when that's the first question someone asks me, I get scared, because it's like how they're gonna judge me, like, for the rest of my interactions with them, you know. But I feel like it's probably fine. Okay, whatever. I'm Capricorn, Cancer rising, Cancer moon.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm me though.
Yeah,
so.
you're you. You're definitely you. You're definitely you still. Definitely you still.
All right.
And what about you?
And I don't know the other ones about the rising or the moon, but I'm like a Cancer Gemini cusp. I'm right on the 21st, so
This makes
I've
sense.
seen some people say Gemini and some people say Cancer.
What is it? You said are you the 20? You're
The 21st,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So depending on what time you were born, like you could literally be either or. It really depends on the time. It's like astrology is wild like that. I look at it like a blueprint, as a way that we can look at it, but also nature and nurture. It's just a blueprint in that way. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense, you know, because I mean, I'm a Cancer myself, so I'm like, I resonate so much with you guys. What's going on here, you know? And it's funny when you learn that the people that, or I always look up the musicians that I resonate with what their signs are. So it's like, cool. Thank you guys for being open to answer that. And yeah, okay. So let's get into some more music, and then we'll be right back.
I am married to the rain. 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 You could pick at any tear from my tapestry of cares, and unraveling like rain, unleash those wicked chords like they've been waiting for. I am married to the rain. 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 Love is an emptiness that craves itself. For lack of nothingness, it feeds itself with its best guess. I am married to the rain. I am married to the rain. I am married to the rain. Ooh, I am married to the rain. Please don't leave me on my own. is blown, and when the sands of time run through, release my wicked soul and all your thoughts of feeling all. I am married to the rain. I am married to the rain. I am married to the rain. I am married to the rain.
And we're back. So with this last song, I feel inclined to ask you, what is your favorite form of weather?
Weather? I'm not, well, I like the kind where it's really easy to go to sleep when it's happening.
What is that to you?
So like, I guess when it's sunny.
What about you?
I like a cold, dreary day. Maybe not the precipitation, but overcast, chilly, coat weather. Yeah, that's I'm all about that.
Do you like to be outside in that kind of weather? Or inside?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Outside. It's cool. You know, I think weather like symbolizes like, you know, coming from the song that we were just listening to, Married to the Rain. I would love to hear what that inspiration was for that song, and you know, the segue from what weather do we like? I feel like, you know, everyone's like, what's the weather? But it's like, but what weather do you actually like? You know? And I feel like that's kind of symbolic of different things at different times. I feel like for me, like my weather mood changes. Sometimes I like sun showers, you know, and that's usually the main one for me, but
Those are
it's always
good.
cool.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like, I don't know, whatever's in season.
That's good. It's adaptable. It's adaptable.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I like a cold, dreary day as well, because it feels, I mean, for all the reasons. But yeah. But that song, so I had this dream. So this is a totally like, I'm gonna ruin the song for you. Okay, so I had this dream, and I got a text message in the dream, and the text message said, "I am married to the rain." And then I woke up, and I just like pondered that, like, and I went to work. At the time, I was teaching private violin lessons. So it was like we sat in a little room, we play violin, you know. And then I got home late that night and wrote the song very, very quickly. I wrote it, it was like an hour and a half for me to finish it. That's the story.
That's really cool, though. You were able to pull something from your dream and materialize it. And for the fact that it was like so effortless, it's just like that creative process was just like a flow. It was like you were like gifted, like, here's this gem. You want to do something with it? You were like, actually, I will. I'll do it in an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's definitely not like that most of the time. So it's
Yeah.
nice when it is.
Yeah, because in reflection to the first song, you know, you said that that one took you 9 years, and like it's a lot of time to sit with something and then also to release it, and like that shows in like the energy of the song, like, you know, the mood, the feeling, you know, and then you have something like, it's so interesting too because they're both very deep and meaningful, and the quickness, you never know what process is going to take on form.
Oh, I got mixed up. Actually, no, 9 Years is a different song. That's on another album. Seashells was just 5 years. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, 5 years is still some time in comparison to an hour and a half. Yeah. definitely contrast. Definitely contrast. But you know, we're humans, and sometimes we remember things differently. But you remembered and you caught it. You know, so
Yeah,
that's what
I gotta
counts.
write a timeline like this. This song. No, I'm not really gonna do that.
Imagine the
You could.
YouTube comments had you not corrected yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny what people comment on in different things, like whether it's on YouTube or anywhere. It's like what we actually want to say and what we do say and what invokes that, I think, is so peculiar about humans. And it's like the things that also comes out in different outlets, like art, you know, these things are significant enough to make songs of them. And even if we didn't explain what these songs meant, I feel like they're just deeply felt and interpreted in their own way. So yeah, thank you so much for your answers. And now we're going to get into Comfort Cat's final song, and we'll be right back.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm so sorry I murdered your friend. Such a crude way for his story to end. But I'm just a man like your Popeye, and I just do what I'm naturally trained to do. And if he dies, he dies, and he who has tears can cry. They don't let me feel anything but rage. Your lips, I mean, I eat my spinach every day. Yo, I live and I fight in a literal cage. It's so pointless to feel remorse. They ride me like a horse, but such a hard-working horse. Of course, such a hard-working horse. Of course. My veins are full of pure adrenaline. Our great technology will never fail again. Girl, I'm less afraid of American men than whatever I myself just might do to them. It's so hard to believe I was ever a boy. For all that I touch, I destroy. I must break you. I will break you. I am a better man. I am a better man. I cannot be defeated. And look into my eyes as I look into the future and your country's demise.
And we're back again. Man, the way that you can relay emotion in your music. So with Ivan Drago, what would you say, rather than getting into the kind of like explanation of it, which you can, of course, but first I want to start off with, what is the emotion you want to come across when hearing that song?
I guess it depends on who you are. I don't know. It could make you feel like, oh wow, I like that song, or it could make you feel like, oh my God, I hate that song. I'm afraid. I'm disgusted. I'm gonna go into another room. I don't know. Whatever you want.
It's got jokes in it, which is one of the things that I particularly appreciated. Like it's funny. I mean, there's musical jokes and all sorts of stuff in there. I mean, it's a little bit more tongue in cheek than we always are. You wrote that for somebody, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, so I made this Facebook post a few years ago saying, hey, give me song prompts. And then our friend Ilya said, write one about Ivan Drago. And I told him, well, I've never seen any of the Rocky movies. I don't think I want to. I don't think I like action movies. But then I was intrigued, and I had this long weekend of dog sitting. So I basically camped out at someone else's apartment. So I drank a little bit and watched some movies with the dogs. And I liked them a lot. And so I wrote that while I was dog sitting. I was really sick too. This is before COVID. So I'm like, and I recorded this video actually of the song, and it's like slower, and like I'm like, sick. That's the first recording of Viva Trucker. That's why it exists. I would have never seen any of the Rocky movies.
Rocky IV.
No, yeah, of course that one. But I started with the first one, even though Ilya said you just watch the fourth one. I'm like, well.
You needed the real in-depth character
I
study.
did,
you
yeah.
need to understand Mr. Balboa's motivations by the time he had to fight the deadly Russian.
Exactly. I'm a perfectionist in that respect.
It's cool how you intertwine the intros, the songs from the movies into this.
That was his idea.
That was really cool.
I've worked for a long time as a piano man, and I got a lot of different songs and motifs and everything else kicking around in my head. And the moment she was like, "This is about the guy from Rocky," I was like, "Well, we got to put all the Rocky music in there, don't we?"
Naturally.
And he's Russian, so we got to get that Tetris theme in there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That brings a whole other element to it. Like how I received that song was very just like raw. Like I felt raw about it, So it's like it was a contrast to the other songs, even though the other songs do have a sense of like vulnerability to them and in different aspects. Like this one felt like raw, and like other songs I feel like they were like more internal, and this one was like external, and it was like, this is bringing balance. Like I'm here for it, Like I love the contrast. So yeah, thank you so much for expressing that and explaining a little bit behind your creative process, sharing your music with us. It was really beautiful to hear and to get to know you guys a little more. And thank you so much for listening, for watching, and where can we find you guys?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Comfort Cat Music, and same thing on Facebook, Comfort Cat Music. I don't really go on Twitter anymore. I mean, I never really used it. Anyway, yeah, I shouldn't have even said that word. I'm on those other two things. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, all that stuff. Just when you type in Comfort Cat, just make sure that you look for the albums that's not, because most of it's just music for cats. Look for the music that's like for people, and then that's me.
For people,
yeah,
not
yeah.
for cats.
I mean, for people
Time
and
and place.
people and cats.
People and cats.
All,
People
all
and
creatures.
cats. Okay.
But it's not
both.
like the the lullaby sleepy time music for kittens music, because there's like that shows up first. Just go down a little bit.
I've been on those playlists before, yeah.
It's the one that's just Comfort Cat and nothing else. No other
Okay.
bells and whistles.
Cool. And is there any local shows that you guys have coming up or anything?
Yes, but I don't remember them at all right now.
That's
Just
fine.
follow me on
their social media and find all the information there and go on their website and
Oh yeah,
make
my
sure you
website is
listen.
comfortcatmusic.xyz.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So
If
thank
you're
you
more
so
into
much for tuning in with us. It was an honor to be your host, and we'll see you next time.